what do you, first of all, we start recording them. I don't do like, oh, hello. No. Uh, First of all, like, dude, you're busy, man, and that's the key thing. Busy stunt person means that's the best thing. I don't if he's too busy to talk to me, that's good. I'm happy with that. Don't worry.
For
I'm
sure.
not I'm not gonna take it personally. Um, well, I'm gonna introduce you. So this is Jason. Jason is a stunt person, a director, a stunt choreographer, a dancer as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Former dancer, yeah, yeah. I still
Yeah,
dabble in it a little bit here and there. Yeah, I used to be a
yeah.
b-boy. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lover of action and everything that is action, and that is why he's here because he made a couple of movies that will be in the festival. By the way, let's set it straight. Last year, your movie Bronuts was accepted, and you won the honorary award because we really loved it. And from technical reasons, and I will take the blame for that, the DCP was created without that movie in the batch. And I'm watching the movies, and in the order, it's like it's skipped. And like, where the hell is Bronuts? Where the hell is Bronuts? Why is Bronuts? so we couldn't, so we couldn't screen it last year. So we'll be screening. We will be starting the festival with Bronuts on
Awesome.
the opening night. We're gonna start the festival with your movie, and we also made Truong, which is also a fun little flick with a lot of falls and hits and spins and kicks. So we're really excited to screen it, and we're really excited. I'm actually very very excited to hear about your journey into stunts. That's more exciting for me. And then we'll talk about all those projects.
Sounds good for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to be part of this. Thanks for chatting with me. But yeah, anything you want to know about me, feel free to ask.
So how'd you get into stunts?
Basically, I've always been martial arts. My brother put me into martial arts as a kid. I always loved it. Loved like watching the Jackie Chan movies and all that kind of stuff. My brother was a big kung fu buff, so all those old school like the Shaw Brothers with those Snake and Cranes, Archer Shaolin. We used to grow up and watch those on VHS all the time. So it's always just been part of my life. And then I've always loved acting as well, right? So throughout my life, I always wanted to be an actor, but Asian parents, taking the route of being an actor is not the most practical route. So it was always school, either the sciences or something. So I went the kind of the university route there. But I kind of always maintained being part of the movies, right? Yeah, I did acting on the side as it went along, and then along the years, I just kind of the kind of martial art bug has always interested me, right? So I started producing my own little fight scenes just to see if I could do it, just to have fun with it and make some fun stuff on the camera. And yeah, so I started just doing it with a few friends, really, and it's just sort of caught fire. And so over the past few years, that this whole stunt world kind of opened up more than the acting thing has been fun, but the stunt world has been something that I have put more focus on. And so that's here we are, moving towards more of the stunt realm of things. So.
But you're not just a stunt, you're also directing your own stuff, you are producing your own stuff, you are stunt coordinating your own stuff. So it's kind of like requires a certain understanding of cinema. Did you study film?
No, I was just a hobbyist that I just did things to learn, just to do myself. It's because in Regina, Saskatchewan, for those of you who don't know, and years back in, I'm gonna say like 2010, the government kind of killed their film credit tax. So the whole film industry just went kaput, right? And so for those who kind of stuck around and that didn't move to Toronto or Vancouver, we just continued on, right? So it was like, well, there's no productions here, so let's do our own, right? So it was kind of one of those things where I kind of learned the craft myself,
Hmm.
became my own director, became my own choreographer, and again, just to play around with things, just for me to be able to do things on my own, right? Learn to edit video, learn to do my own photoshopping, all that kind of stuff. Just because um, you never know, like at 11 o'clock at night, you get a call from your agent saying, "Hey, you got an audition." You gotta self-submit tape, gotta do whatever you need to do, make adjustments to your stunt reel or whatever. And I can't be calling my editor at midnight being like, hey, can you change this for me, right? So it's one of those things, just to practical reasons. I just learned it all myself so I can be self-sufficient, and it's paid dividends. And after a while, I'm like, hey, it's actually kind of fun. We got some good results out of it, and so it just grew, and we made our own production company, made our own thing, and it's just we've become quite relevant in the Saskatchewan film space. So here we are again, just due
Hell
to being
yeah.
extreme hobbyist, right? So
Hell yeah. I mean, that's how most people start in this industry. You know, it's like they have passion, but they start with a hobby. Maybe I'll grab a camera. Maybe I'll take a couple pictures, or maybe I'll film this, and then, oh, this looks okay. How about this? Oh no, this looks like shit, but I still like doing this. I'll do it again, and I'll do it again, and then you go crazy a little bit. Uh, you know how that likes.
100%. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. It's just like, hey guys, I got an idea. Let's play with it. And then eventually over time I've built my team, right? I got my camera guy who knows my style now. I got my trusted stunt guys that I've trained up. The couple of the guys that you always see, like Tyven and his brother, Colby, those guys that you'll see them in Trungwick and whatnot. Those guys I've been training with them since they're little boys, right? Since they're like 10 years old at the Hapkido dojo. I saw potential in them, so I kind of pulled them into my world to develop. Because a lot of the problem I had building these things was like I was at a certain level in my martial arts, but because Saskatchewan's not known for their stunts, I don't have anyone to fight, right? So I can't fight myself on screen. So I've over time developed my own stunt team to have players on the camera to fight me, right? So
So you still teach?
I do, yeah, yeah. I run classes at Jinpa Hapkido in Regina here, so
Oh, that's cool. So you
yeah.
already have a pool of people that might have potential to
You
kind of
bet, yeah, yeah.
lure them to the dark side of
Exactly.
sun.
Show them the
Come,
world.
the power is great in falling off a building, doing
Of
double
course.
spins. Oh man, that sounds so much cool, man. So you enjoy you enjoy teaching, I'm assuming.
I do, yeah. It's kind of ends up being a place I always end up, unintentionally. I always go in, just like with the breakdancing thing. I was trying to find teachers, couldn't find the teacher, ended up just teaching myself, and then became the teacher. Martial arts. So I was the student, became the teacher. It just seems to I end up in those positions. So I've just learned to embrace it, and I actually enjoy passing on knowledge as best I can. So.
And I guess it really helped you on set as well because being a teacher allows you to kind of articulate your ideas in a more accurate manner and then communicate better and avoid conflicts or resolve conflicts and that kind of stuff, right?
Oh, 100%. It's just because I've learned over the years is that there's so many different personality types, right? One style teaches will work for you, but might not work for someone else, right? And so it's just being able to key in on certain character traits and adjusting that, applies perfectly on set because sometimes the director is this type, or sometimes an actor is this way, or sometimes some person is this way. So I have to adjust my approach
Hell
depending
yeah.
on who I'm talking to, right? So
Understood. I used to teach too, so I kind of relate to that. It really helps me, uh, especially if this is my second language. It really helps me to like, oh, this is I'm not making a fool of myself with my language. You, that's cool, man. So, but how stunts? Like, why stunts? Why not acting? I don't get it.
it's funny because like I said, I've loved acting. I always dreamed about being an actor and whatnot. So that was kind of my plan for I'd always planned to kind of like take off to Toronto or whatever and pursue the acting thing. Um, and so that was kind of my goal for the longest time. And then but it just sort of one of those things where um because the stunt thing isn't very big in Saskatchewan. So I became a bit of a niche market, right? Because so when production came in here, there's like myself and myself, who are the people who would be the people who would need it when something's came in. So, oh, we need a guy who falls. Well, there's Jason. So those roles kind of opened up to me, right? So it became like, okay, this is the doors that are these are the doors that are opening. I've always loved
Mhm.
martial arts things, anyways. Being an action star was always a dream. But being in Saskatchewan, you never think that's kind of possible. So just to yeah, as the cards aligned, or the stars aligned, I should say, that's kind of where the doors are opening, and so be it. It's been something that I've really enjoyed over time. To be more in that stunt realm, because that I've always wanted to fight in the camera, and so this gives me that kind of outlet to do so. So yeah, that's how it ended up being.
So it's like, who wants to fall? And Jason,
Yeah, yeah,
why
yeah,
why don't you step forward and fall over there?
yeah,
Actually, actually, I have a friend that his name is Omar. He we filmed this little project long time ago that didn't go anywhere. But every time we needed somebody to fall, and they were like ninjas, so their face were covered. So it
yeah.
was like, "Hey Omar, we need you to fall down. Hey Omar, we need you to fall. Hey, Omar." in the end, it's like, in the end, it was like kind of gag. Hey, Omer, no, no, no,
Just
no,
go,
no,
come over here.
no, no, I don't want to fall down anymore.
That's
No,
amazing.
no, I mean, it's our industry, right? That's what we got in ourselves into, and making action. I think making action is a unique skill
Mhm.
that requires the combination of basically all the talents of filmmaking.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. And you know what people don't really understand is that as stunt people, you are still acting on camera. You know, the guys think, or you just can throw a kick or whatever. It's like there's a whole science behind like screen acting, because you know your job is to either make the actor look like a superstar or make the other person look, you know, like a complete idiot, whatever you want to do. But you're also filling in the blanks in behind the scenes. So you're still doing stuff even though you might not be in the action, right? So all those little notes of like still maintaining you know, they call it egg on your face. So like when you'll see in the background, it's sometimes a stuntman is not doing their job. They just kind of hover weird, and
yeah,
they're just kind of standing around waiting for something, but you don't know why they're just standing there, right? So we want to avoid that kind of stuff. So that's where the acting thing comes in, right? You know,
yeah.
am I still dazed? Am I still whatever? I'm still doing something to fill in those gaps, right? So so there's a lot more to it than just getting punched in the face, right? So
Oh, if only people knew, right? But that's the fun part about it. It's like when you don't feel the stunt, like don't feel you feel the stunt, but when you don't feel the stunt, but you feel the heat, like
yes.
if you feel the punch, but you don't feel the stunt, it's great. It's like it means that it was great, but in order to make that, it was so much work to bring that out. Like, how many times did you throw? Which one was the person you threw against the garbage bin
Oh, the
on?
garbage. Oh, that was Colby. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
I
how
am
many
talking about.
times did they have to do so it hit properly and fall properly?
We probably had to go about four takes. We try to keep it around three. That this is the standards kind of
Okay,
go through three takes or whatever, right? But we were able to pull it off in about four takes for him, and they were like, okay. The key thing for Colby was that he needed to get his arc right so that when he enters frame, he's already mid-flight, right? So he can't be like
yeah.
taking off in the middle frame. So it looks like someone's throwing him. So we're like, okay, we got to get you clearing at least about, you know, 6, 7 feet in the air before you hit that wall, right? So
Was he running towards that, or did he were you were using wire?
no, that was all him. That was really, literally him like winding up behind camera, and we had the camera locked there, and he just threw himself into the
So he
garbage bin.
just jumped into frame
He
about three
just
meters
took a running
before.
start, yeah, and he threw himself
Oh,
into the wall.
that's quite a distance. He's an athlete, that kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we were like, can we try? We tested it on the dojo with a couple of stunt mats on the walls and stuff, just to see if we can cover the distance. And then we're like, okay, now we're on concrete, so let's we padded them up. We threw some pads, you know, elbow pads and back pads or whatever,
Thank God for
and away we
sleeves,
went.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
for
my God!
sure,
Look,
of course.
every time I watch stunt sequences, especially female action performers who are not wearing like sleeves or anything to cover them, and they need to be like falling down and getting hit and all that kind of stuff. I'm like blown away how like brave these people are, man. Like just like ow, ow, ow.
Oh, you know what? The stunt women on are way stronger than guys, just for that fact, for sure. Like because their clothing is much more obviously, you know, form fitting or just less of it. You know, our sleeves are exposed or whatever. The guys are easy. Like, you know, pair of jeans, shirts or whatever. If you got a long sleeve, you got padding underneath. You got back plates, whatever.
Yeah,
Women who don't have that, they'll have some padding, but they can't have much because it'll
no,
just show, right? So the women taking the falls, kudos to them because they're way tougher than the men for sure.
way.
100%. Yeah.
It's we had this film Bullet, One in the Chamber, in the first festival, Hannah. Amazing human, but amazing stunt performer.
Mhm.
She did it basically in a in a tank top and a tights, and I'm talking about crazy falls, crazy stunts, and everything. I was blown away. She's one of the she's one of the sweetest people in the world. You will be like she's one of the sweetest. You talk to her it's like, no, you can't fight. You cannot kick my ass. Yeah, yes, you can. So it's crazy, man, and I honestly, I do see the resemblance that the inspiration you get from Jackie Chan in your film. Like, completely talk about something different, but I see in your films a resemblance that in the way you take humor and action together, and uh, and it really works. It really works. I'm curious to know how, like, what is your process? How do you build a stand? Do you build it by yourself? Do you build it with a team? Like, I'm just curious about your process into making making a sequence, making a stunt. Are you writing the comedy there, or does it come up while you're choreographing it?
Yeah, it usually starts with yeah, I like to kind of just think about the scenario that I want to do. Like kind of like, okay, what would be kind of a bit of a fun storyline to go with. And then of course there's in my head, I'll always kind of have certain key beats I want to hit. Like, okay, I want to, this move would be kind of cool, this whatever. Right? And I apply that from there. And usually to me the comedy kind of happens organically as I start choreographing the fight scene. So once I have the storyline, um there's certain moments in there that okay, actually as I'm choreographing it'd be kind of funny to do this, right? So I'll generally have like a quite the framework of my all my choreography kind of like, let's say 90% done, and then I'll tap the guys on the shoulder, be like, hey, okay, this is kind of what I'm feeling. The show, walk them through the choreo, and then and I'll mark out little parts where it's just not quite right for me, and then I'll get help people to kind of help fill in the blanks on that, and then we'll see what plays right. My philosophy generally is kind of if it doesn't pass my own eye test, I won't let it pass. Meaning, like, if I don't feel settled internally, whatever it is, if something catches weird in my eye, even just if it's a slicing, we just keep adjusting until it gets to that point where like I'm settled internally, and then we'll hopefully that translates well on camera. But yeah, generally it's kind of like, hey, this will be a fun move. This will apply properly in the storyline. Let's see what we can do. What's our environment like? What can we explore? And then how fun would that be to kind of showcase that? Because part of it is I want to be able to use these films to kind of showcase what my stunt team can do.
Mhm.
So a bit of our resume too, right? To say like, hey, look, we
Yeah,
can do this, we can do this, this, and this, and so showcase our skill set too. So
it's a bit more expanded pr- show reel, not previs, but not without the viz, just not without the pre, just the viz.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Um, but they work. They're great. We love them. We
Thank
will.
you.
Do you have a favorite stunt that you've
So,
ever done?
that I've ever done. Oh, let's see. Like one of my favorite stunts that we filmed was Colby throwing himself in the garbage can because that was just so funny to watch him throw himself in the garbage. But actually, the one of the favorite ones we did was if in Truong, for those of you who haven't seen, there's a shot where I just get side kicked out of the air, and we just did like just such a like a back alley style like manual pull on that one, and so that's kind of the first stunt that we've pulled with like wire work and stuff in my fights. Because generally I try to keep it as like realistic as possible, so that we're not assisted in any way. But for this specific one, we want to do like a bit of a wire pull, right? So just kind of figuring out the logistics behind that and doing the editing and trying to figure out how I can like hide the rope behind the scenes was a lot of learning for me. And to me, it turned out really well for such a real simple stunt. It turned out a lot funner than expected. So I'm pretty happy with the way that one turned out. So
I will look for it definitely. So basically, you try to avoid wire work in your own projects in general.
I do. It's not that I avoid it. So yes and no. The reason why I keep it grounded because again back to kind of the Jackie Chan style things. He kind of keeps everything very grounded and very practical, right? I like wire work if it enhances, but I don't like people going overboard with wire work. I don't want people like flying. You know what I mean? Like it's too much unless it
Yeah,
calls for it in
the
the genre. Yeah, and like I want to see if a guy can do it, he can do it. Like if he's gonna do a cork round and hit the ground, I want to see him do it. I don't want to see the enhancement unless it's really applicable for that situation. Then it applies sparingly, right? But so for me personally, I like to minimize it in general. However, I do understand that there's a need for the wire work. So it's
yeah,
part of
yeah.
me that I do need to learn how to use it. So keep it to that level.
Mhm.
But I will only use it to enhance as opposed to being the big show. You know what I mean? And so that's my philosophy on the wire work and stuff like that. Because it's just kind of like CG, right? CG is there to enhance. It can't be the full thing. Whereas
Yeah,
practical effects will always look better, like the real explosion versus like
yeah.
the digital explosion, right? So
Honestly, I feel like in the future the practical, actual things would be the niche. It's like today we have this thing with food, right? Oh, it's
Yeah.
organic, organic. I think it's gonna be with cinema. Oh no, he actually jumped. This is not, I don't know, Unreal Engine 17 or something like that. So I think what you're talking about is like it hits the note because we relate to the micro expressions of the body, not just the face when something happens.
Yeah.
And digital cannot really replicate those things. And when you remove that, so I understand what you're saying completely.
Yeah,
You,
yeah, because the eye picks up like everything, right? Even if you don't consciously know it, like
yeah,
you know when something's real, when something hits
yeah.
for
It's
real,
like,
and you're like, oh yeah, it's,
mm, yeah,
right.
yeah.
But there's a little bit of weight that's missing on the digital stuff where you just don't quite feel the impact, or something's just a little bit from a physics standpoint, just a little bit off, right?
Or even the wire, it's like it's yanked a little too much. So I'm just like that makes no sense that like that he would move this way. I mean, an athlete can move this way in the air, but this is a little bit too much.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, those things like if you don't establish those things in the world, like you kill the suspense. The no, what it's called, the suspense of belief.
yeah. You just
Yeah,
you basically take the person out of the movie because now
yeah,
they're wondering, well, that just seems weird,
yeah.
right?
And then
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
don't have that in action, which no action movie is realistic.
yeah,
No action movie is realistic, and if it's an
yeah.
action
Yeah.
movie,
Oh, for sure,
it's
for sure.
it's never no really no disrespect to all action lovers. No action movie is realistic. Everybody who's been in a fight can say nobody fights like this.
Oh, we always say in the stunt world that there's real fighting and there's like screen fighting. Like even as I was training my stunt team in here, they're all like martial artists, or multi-degree black belts in multiple styles. My hardest task was to dirty up their real technique for the camera
Yeah,
because real
yeah,
technique sometimes just looks a little small on camera. So we have to widen it up. Yeah, yeah. You can't be technical with it. It
true.
has to be a
Yeah,
little bit loopier, a little the angles are a little bit different. And they're like, I'm used to being trained to actually fight. I'm like, no, 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 no. We have to aim different here. And
and
so stream fight is completely different than real fighting for sure.
you avoid injuries that way. By the way, we had
Absolutely.
we had a good friend of mine came to help us out with this again a long time ago,
Yeah.
and he's from Krav Maga. You know Krav Maga, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Krav Maga is you defend, but defense is attack. So you do it with the
With
hard
the
part,
bone
so
out.
you're hurt, and we're doing the choreography, and I'm like, stop, no, 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 with the soft part, okay, no, no, not the bone. And he was so accustomed to it that by the end of the day, our hands were just so like it was all blue and green and yellow and purple and all the colors of the rainbow. It was so bad, man. It was crazy. Like those little things that you don't pay attention to. I bet you but you train your own people, right? So you kind of like bring them up
Yes.
from the ground up, and which is kind of funny because nobody like does it feels like it's it, nobody did it for you, but you do it for others, which is really cool. You're a teacher, Jason.
Apparently that seems to be my fate to be in this position. But hey, I embrace it. Like if people trust me to teach them, that means I've earned the respect in some shape or form to for
What
them.
is the baseline, most important thing you teach people, and like would teach people in stunts?
In stunts in general. The biggest thing for me when I teach stunts is safety. Like honestly, like I've heard this like from other coordinators, and I've really kind of taken it to heart. It's like if someone walks up to me and says, I got real high pain tolerance, and I'm crazy, and yeah, it's oh sorry man, we're not looking for daredevils out there. Like
No,
our job is to do cool things safe, right? So if I have like a bit of a nut on stage that I have no idea where he's gonna be or how safe he's gonna be to other stuntmen and to himself, I can't have him on set. Like that's just bottom line. Like I can't risk someone punching someone in the face just because they have no control or just dropping
yeah,
off some stairs and hurting themselves, right? Like
yeah,
that's not the way to do it. It's a very controlled, very look like you're hurting yourself, but like being 100% control every time,
yeah.
right? So I need that mentality and control. Otherwise, I won't work with you. It's too risky, right? So
It's I think that's one of the things that are missed. It's like and you hit it in the nail. The safety part is like we don't want like stunt people are not like, oh, I wanna I want to throw myself over the building or whatever. The like it's more like this is needs to be controlled. We need to understand the movement. We need to understand how the dynamic, how the technique, how the whole like structure of the fall or whatever the stunt is works. So like I will need to move my body this way or this way, so I don't get my head chopped off or whatever it is. I mean, I'm exaggerating here, but it's so important to teach that, right? So you went like that's so cool that you get to establish that on the get go to your students, and yeah, man, it's like, and I find it fascinating. I find it like it's the little piece that is missed. That you have all this like, yeah, it's like people go to martial arts to learn how to fight in order to fight. It's like, no, get out of here.
Yeah, 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 right. Exactly. You're missing the point if that's what you're here for, right? And so that's really important to have that and understand that person's mindset because you've been a set. Let's say you're working with like the actress who's not a stunt person, and your stunt guy goes in there and kicks her in the chest for real, and you're like, oh, okay, how's production gonna deal with that when your crazy stunt person has no control and hurts the actual actress and
Yeah,
kind of you're like that production stops and you kill the whole project, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
Or
know how to pull back.
yeah, or yeah, just like your other point, if they fall and break their arm because they're a bit of a fool out there and didn't take the proper precautions,
Yeah,
again, like we're down in production. The guy's hurt, insurance issues, whatever
yeah.
liabilities. Yeah.
I was just having a conversation about this today. It's like, and that's where you find out the real stunt. Also, like in addition to it, the stunt, you don't feel the stunt on the first one. You understand if you want to do stunts on the second time they ask you to do that because now you're hurting. Now
Yeah,
you're in pain.
yeah,
Now like, this wasn't what I expected. I got
yeah,
yanked off 500 feet out. I don't know what it was.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, man, safety. That's where the safety goes because on the second time you need to do it and your body is aching and you don't know that you don't have a proper baseline,
Hmm.
um, then you kind of fuck.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
pardon my
Actually,
French.
no, that's exactly it though. The way you were is perfect because I always also push stuff like I'll always ask my stunt guys like, are you okay? Does that feel comfortable with it or whatever? And even on little things like just like kneeling on the ground or something, and they'll be like, oh, I can handle it. And then I'll say, no, 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 no. This is where let's pad you up here because I don't want to say like you can handle it, meaning like it shouldn't hurt. It should be pretty comfortable. We need longevity here, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not like I don't need to test your pain tolerance. Meaning like if you can put a pad on your knee to save your knee for the day, I'm gonna put a pad on you, even if
yeah.
it's not a big fall, right? So put a knee pad on so that you protect yourself. Don't be like
It's
resting on your knee on concrete just because you want to be tough, right? We're not trying to make heroes here, right? So, yeah, 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 I can handle
and,
it. No, no, no. Just
and
pad yourself up where you can.
and here's the thing that like sometimes you end up being a whole hour kneeling on your knee because suddenly you have to do it like more than once, or you need to like or shoot it from the other angles. And oh, we see you. We need you to kneel, and then suddenly you're not comfortable.
Then you're
You're
not
not
comfortable.
handling because you're on your knee with your or like for an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then
So
your
yeah,
performance suffers, right? And then no
yeah,
one wins, right? You
yeah,
had a sore knee for no reason, and you
yeah,
look terrible on camera, right?
yeah. It's so important. I appreciate that aspect of people who actually like focus on that aspect of. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah, no,
bulking up
for
on
sure.
water today. If I need to, what is it? Anyway,
But
uh,
another trait that I do, aside from like the safety thing, though, another trait that I really do drive when I teach my students is that you got to be committed. Like the stunt world, it's a hard world. Yeah, the film in general is a hard world to be in, right? You're gonna have to be working weird hours. You're gonna be whatever, and like the commitment has to be there, right? So meaning like if I need you to commit to rehearse so we can get these things right, I need you to be there. I need you to be able on set and be able to like focus. And I need you to be able to willing to train so that you're to the level I need so that when we do get the call, you're ready, right? And if I don't get that, again, I'd be hesitant to kind of really pull that person to the next level because can't be showing up on set unprepared, not willing to go through the grind of like how rough this is. It could be like they make last minute changes. You just have to roll with it. Can't be complaining, can't have a bad attitude on the set, can't
yeah,
just be snarky, right? All
yeah,
these things are really important if you're gonna be part of this industry, right? So
yeah. Have an attitude to be like water. Nice
Yes.
to, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree with that, man. It's a very it's a weird industry, man. Like it's like, oh, it's like, oh, what do you do? I fall off buildings, I get hit by cars, I punch people or get punched by people for a living. You
Yeah.
have to be slightly,
Yeah, a little crazy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But you have to be committed to the craziness in order to have great stuff. Like I don't know, even Fall Guy. You've watched Fall Guy.
No, I haven't. I
The
plan to watch it.
stunts,
I hear it's fantastic though.
the stunts there is are amazing, man. Like the movie, like I mean, people who are in the stunts world, like they'll so relate to it because there's so many like you see the lack of appreciation or communication there is on set between the creative team and the stunt team or the performers or the stunt people. Like some have such a great relationship that they have the understanding of what it takes to do
Yeah.
what you guys do. I'm not a stunt person. I'm a fan, by the way.
Oh,
I'm, not,
appreciate it.
I'm a huge fan. I started this festival because I'm a fan, because I saw nobody appreciates the people that do this type of stuff enough. I'm not a stunt person, but when I see it and it's like and I engage with people enough to have slight understanding. So when I see the lack of communication or understanding from both sides. There's no like synergy. There's no
Mhm.
baseline understanding, and that movie kind of shows it so well, man. Like, oh, when do we do the stunts? In the end of the day, no, you dummy. Like, why? Everybody's tired.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know that in the end of the day. We do we need a rehearsal? No, no, no. It's okay. Let's do it. Let's just do it.
It's so funny because I've even experienced that straight up with my own productions where like my writing partner, he's on the creative side. He likes the script. He writes the scripts. He likes the directing things, right? And I'm heavier on the stunt side of things,
Mhm.
right? And we get into conflicts even where like I'm like, hey, I need time to get these stunts right for our own productions. He's like, hey, but we gotta get these shots right for the dialogue, right? And so even on my own thing, I'm pushed to the end where like we got like 20 minutes to film the stunt, and so it's not as polished as I want, but that happens even on my own thing, right? So in the real industry, you're absolutely right. Stunts,
Yeah,
pushed right to the end, and then the director's like, "Go, go, go! Let's get it done and go!" Right?
yeah.
And then we just
That's
have to
okay.
get there
Yeah,
and do it. Yeah,
and then you cut around it, and it's like,
yeah. And you're like, nah, well, that could have been better, but we didn't have time, right?
and then you have Liam Neeson jumping off a fence on 17 cuts.
Yeah, yeah, and
Uh,
you're cold, and you jump in no time to warm up, and you just hit the ground, and you're like, okay,
uh,
and do it again.
I'm so happy I'm not a stunt person, but I'm a bit of a stunt person in my head. Um, what else? What else do you do that is relates to stunts but is not stunts? That helps you. Um, helps you be ready, helps you understand what you do better, helps you get ready for your own projects or other projects. I saw the social media that you did a project with uh, one of my favorites actually, with Michael J. White. And
Oh yes.
I mean, I saw a post. I don't know if you're allowed to or are able to talk about it, but if
Yeah,
you are,
I mean, I'll give you as much information as I can that's
yeah.
allowable. Basically, I'm on working on a project called Hostile Takeover, starring Michael Jai White here. So Regina has built this volume wall, and it's one of those 360 screens that they use for the Marvel movies and Disney
Uh-huh.
movies, right? It's one of the largest in the world. So Hostile Takeover is the first movie that they're putting on the screen right now. So
Oh
they
wow,
pulled me in to do so it helps them with some of the fight choreography and to do some stunts on camera
that's so
with Michael J.
cool.
White. Yeah, so we've been working on that for the past month. So that's why it's been pretty hectic. A lot of rehearsals and juggling my normal day job as well. So it's been long hours, lots of hours put in and training and rehearsing with my team. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. So we just finished. My day was done yesterday, and then they'll be finishing over the next couple of weeks to finish shooting here. So
So that's so cool, man. Like that's probably like a, a very different experience.
oh yeah, it's been phenomenal. And Michael Jai White, it's such a great person. He's so down to earth and just willing to learn, willing to teach, and you can see the knowledge in him like when he talks to you, and he's just a great person. So it's been yeah, he's been one of my personal favorites as well. So it was really difficult for me to not fanboy it when he showed up. I'm like, oh, Michael Jai White, like huge fan, but try to keep it professional as best I can. But inside, I'm like, oh, he's my
Yeah,
hero.
yeah. I would probably be that too, man. Like he's probably like an impressive person. Like it's totally. muscular. He's got the presence, so it's kind of like, and when you're a fan of that type of person, it's like,
Oh yeah, oh
"Ah."
yeah. Because like, I'm like 5'7", so I'm a small dude, and he's like, what, 6'2", I think, and he's just like, he's just a big guy, right? Like he's just a strong looking guy, right? And he's walking through, he's like, oh, yeah, Michael J. White's here, like his presence is there, right? So it's
Did
good.
you
And he,
feel? Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on, go on.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying like it's just he just carries himself with such a good way, but like it's such a grounded person too, right? For someone his position, right? So I really appreciate the fact that he talked to everyone like a human being. Like there's no pretentiousness for someone as
Well,
high
that's
up as
nice
he
to
is, right?
hear.
Yeah. So
That's really nice to hear. I've actually I do have a question too. How was the like? What do you feel the difference between working with somebody has like that type of um, background experience? Was the communication different? The understanding of the one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, was it different? The approach was like what was the approach any different in such a high profile set?
No, I took this very much the same approach as I do with anyone because he's just a different personality trait. Like not that he's a different personality. I just treat it as like I'm just trying to assess what his personality trait is, right? And again, he was very willing to learn right from the start. So it didn't really require much of a change from Michael Jai White's point of view. I approach it more like he is coming from a position of a lot of experience too, right? So with him specifically, if he provided some input, it definitely my ears are open for sure because he comes from a place
Yeah.
of knowledge and whatever. Not that I would dismiss anyone with less knowledge, but it'd be less explaining because I understand what the thought process behind someone with his experience would be, right?
Hmm.
So it's actually a good kind of a almost a collaborative approach when we're talking with someone like him versus with someone a little greener. You might listen, but at the end of the day, you might take a little bit more control in terms of okay, well, we'll do it this way, just because you might not see the ins and outs, right? But with someone with Michael Jai White, like he clearly would know what he's talking about. So like his suggestion will bear a much heavier response for
Well,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's probably slightly different when you work with people that have like years of experience and like their expectations of you and your expectations of them, and it kind of like how you build on that, right? It's like because
Right.
when you work with like experience. From my experience, when I work with that with people who have like such a background, it's way more like sometimes you take for granted the things that you need to communicate, but you
Mhm.
still need to communicate them. But it's still it's pretty cool, man. I'm I want to be a fly on the wall when those things go down all the time because
For sure, and
that's what it
it's also
does.
important to like when you're talking to someone with that level of experience, they're gonna do things that's in their comfort zone as well, right? Which will enhance what comes out on camera, anyways, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
well, there's no sense in strong arming this creative vision when if you kind of align it closer to what he's more familiar with, you're playing with something with proven results too, right? So
Yeah,
like well, you balance out the creative side versus different views and find that happy medium to allow the actor to flourish in that situation in that choreography, right? Because there's no sense in putting him in an awkward move where you're like, oh, that doesn't work, but that's the choreography. It's like no, you just let's play here. Let's see what we can
yeah.
find a happy medium point, right?
Don't try to make people do the choreography. Try to make the choreography to what the people can do, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what, yeah,
Exactly, and of course, there's a balance of that too, because we can't completely get the choreography, but at the same time, though, you can't be so strong-armed and be like, no, this is gospel, and we can't adjust, right? Because
yeah.
you just run into situations, just like I've had lots in the past where like in my head, my choreography is this, and then you run into the person, and you're like, okay, maybe that was more aligned with the way I move, but that doesn't align with the person that's actually gonna
But
be
yeah,
doing it. Yeah, so like, hey,
yeah,
let's change these moves, right? Because in my head, oh, this should be easy, but it might not be easy for them, and they might have things that are super easy to them and makes no sense to me. So we just find places where you show their skill set, right?
yeah. Here's Bam Bam Bigelow. By the way, he needs to do a perfect chopper kick.
Yeah, right. Like it makes no sense.
Hey, it's in the choreography. Come on.
Yeah. It's
Hey, Bam Bam.
now we just have them smash into a bar. Okay,
Hey,
cool.
hey,
That works
hey,
better.
hey, Bam Bam, do a little split in the air. Why don't you?
Yeah, right.
Oh man, that would be. I would watch that movie. I would watch. I would pay a lot of money to watch Bam Bam. He
Yeah,
was
I gotta agree
uh,
with you on that one.
yeah, yeah. He was in David Bella's movie District 13. I don't know if you
Oh,
were.
really? Was
Yeah,
he in
yeah,
that one? I saw that
yeah,
one,
yeah,
but I don't remember
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
him there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was he was in the American version with Paul Walker.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think I saw the American version. I saw the original
Yeah.
District
So
13 there.
that's him. That's him there. He's they
Okay.
brought him to be like the big guy, and then in the end, David Bella kind of like, sorry, spoiler alert, like it wasn't, but uh, the good guys win.
Oh,
Uh, he he smashed the giant brick of concrete on his head, and that's how they win. But that was
oh,
Bam
that's
Bam
awesome.
then.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
But I would be like, what if we could do it? Yeah. Anyway, now we're going to silly land. What else? So you're dancer. What type of dancing?
I used to break dance like a long time ago.
Break
I'll
dance.
say I'll say I was a former dancer. I haven't danced for a while. I keep my skills up a little bit, but I wouldn't say I'm an active dancer by any stretch. Although I did do some dancing for this for Hostile Takeover in the background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I used to be a break dancer. After in university, sorry, after high school,
Uh huh.
I started dancing in high school, and then after we 12 year, I just carried it on. At the time, it was something I needed to fill in the gaps because I kind of stopped martial arts for a little bit there, and then I was like, oh, I want to keep my agility up, and the breakdancing thing was kind of going there. And then yeah, over time I started my own class, had some LCT at a studio there for a while, and I was kind of performing around the province and stuff like that. And then yeah, I just kept my agility up, and it's something kind of kept in my back pocket since. So that's my b-boy career.
Hey, man, it helps you with remember the moves and being in beat and hit your marks.
Yeah, yeah. You know what helped me the most with this for sure, hitting the beats and stuff. But because being like a traditional martial art,
Hmm.
everything's very rigid, right? All the stances are like here, your foot positions here, your footwork is here. Whereas breakdancing was very flowy, very kind of freestyle, right? And so it breaks that kind of rigidity, and it allowed me
Hmm.
to be actually like a more of a performer on a camera to dirty up certain positions rather than like being like such a rigid stance, right? It's like, okay, you
So,
know what, I got to be more funky with this one, right? So
do you teach your students to dance a little bit
a
to
little
help
bit,
them as
yeah.
well?
I do infuse some of it in because it to me at the end of the day, like stunts is like movement, right? It's not
Uh
just like
huh.
fighting. It's like you need to be aware of your body. So like a kick is a kick, a roll is a roll, a fall is a fall. Like you have different schools of thought on like what body position you're in. But at the end of the day, it's all movement, right? So the more kind of angles you can come in at it, the better off you'll be because you'll get a director be like, I need to fall this way, or you get another person be like, you know what, I need to kick this way, and you just have to be able to adjust and move your body around. So the more aware you are
Hmm.
of the different schools of thoughts, the ability to be like, okay, I can do that is there for you, rather than be like, no, 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 I can only do it like the Hapkido way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a karate guy. I do it this way. It's like, no, 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 no. Yeah, no, no, my block is this way. No, no, no. I need you to block this way. No, 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 but I block this way. You can't do that, right? So understand the schools of thought and be like, okay, yeah, I can adjust to that. Really, really important. So
So you would advise to anybody who wants to get into stunts to learn how to dance, not just because it helps with the pace, but it helps with
yeah,
softening the movements, I guess.
because dancing, when you fight on camera, is actually closer to dancing than it is to fighting. It's knowing your marks, knowing your position, knowing your rhythm, right? So you just beat one is here, beat two is here, beat three is here, block, boom. So I know kind of where everyone lands, right? So it's like one and
Mhm.
two, three and four, and if you know those counts, you're like, okay, cool, cool. I can be there, right? As opposed to being like position one, position two, position three. It gets that robotic feel, right? Which you get a bit of a rhythm, and you're using your partner as a dance partner. Now you're playing, right, and now everyone moves to the same beat, right? So yeah, social dancing I say is definitely an asset for sure if you can add it to your repertoire.
Well, I mean, I wanted to do ballet before because of Van Damme.
Oh yeah, yeah, these the
Yeah,
splits,
man.
right?
Well, he did ballet for
Was he in ballet?
yeah,
Hey?
yeah. And then when I heard it, I'm like, oh. And then I heard Schwarzenegger did ballet.
What?
Yeah, because of the whole poses for his
Oh,
bodybuilding. So he did. It was classical, like classical dancing poses
yep,
that allowed him to look more graceful, elongate his body more, take more presence, and also makes his movement more like more nice.
yeah,
He
yeah,
doesn't move because he's built like a tank,
yeah.
right? So the sun needs to move in a you you kind of like everybody just like, "Ugh," and then suddenly this guy comes out and it's like he can move like his hand like he's about to do a plie,
Yeah.
and I mean it really really helped. So I really like that. And I heard many people from dancing would need to do their own stunts, for example, for performance. It really helps them.
Oh,
So
okay.
the 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, okay, we have 7 moves for this one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. Remember, they're already ready. I
Yeah.
can't even remember 3 moves, and people can remember like 7 moves or 8 moves or 12 moves. So
Yeah.
it's insane, man. It's like I love this. I love this. It's I think we can talk about the subtleties. I think I can talk about. I mean, I know I can talk about the subtleties of this until somebody's ears fall off. But I would rather not do that. What I would ask you is this. So I asked it to everybody. Uh, Most obscure favorite action movie that you know.
The most obscure action movies. So this is like I'm not sure if it's my favorite, but it's this one I enjoy this quite well. There's this Thai movie called Raging Phoenix, and it's pretty obscure one, but the reason why I like it is because it's the first time that I've seen a movie actually incorporate b-boy moves in a fun way in a fight that's not completely ridiculous. You know, it's
Oh,
ridiculous, but it's really cool the way they incorporate it. So it's just a fun little like Thai movie. It doesn't take it so seriously, but it's great. Like if you watch Raging Phoenix, yeah, it's there's just one scene where I guess I think the main female runs into a bunch of b-boys and who can protect her from the bad guys, and yeah, and they're just breakdancing and they're using other moves to fight these guys, and the way they use it is very very clever the way they did it. So check it out if you can. But Raging Phoenix is kind of a bit of a cult classic for me.
okay, okay. It sounds like your next project, by the way.
Right?
Yeah,
I'll have to
probably.
try
Yeah.
it, see if it works. Yeah.
Hey, you have to now. That's it.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I have to dust off the old dancing shoes here, see what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, you created one for Donut. The other one that was, well, you were trying to protect kids,
Yeah. And
but
then
you,
I had one for called Please Recycle that was too about the guy dropping a can on the ground and got into a fight for that. So, so
well, your next one is somebody doing something, and you're using b-boy moves with
okay.
martial arts. There you
Okay.
go.
I'm
I'm
gonna
put,
have to do that now. All
I'm,
right.
I'm putting the challenge on you.
Sounds good.
Oh, hey, those things are. I used to love all those like weird. I mean, I was young and I was a kid, so I used to love watching those movies. Like that combination between like, hey, only the strong is basically b-boy moves with martial arts. Come on,
Oh yeah.
Cap,
I watched Only the Strong so much as a kid. I love that show. Yeah.
like
That's great.
capoeira.
Capoeira, yeah. It's all
If you,
dancing, right? Yeah.
yeah, and it's a ridiculous movie, man. Like Mark Dacascos is the capoeira master, and this guy from Brazil, and he's like supposed to be this tough guy, and in the middle of the movie, he's like, and we will see who's the real capoeira master in this. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's
Yeah.
like,
Where'd that come from? Why are we doing this?
he's holding a gun, and he's like, we will see who's the real capoeira master in this street. And I'm like,
That's an
oh
amazing.
my
Oh, I
god,
gotta watch that show again. I haven't seen that for so long.
dude, that movie is so good. That movie is so good. It's just, mm, dude, that's just fucking. I am apologies for my language.
Oh no, if you don't do it, I'll
Uh,
do it.
all right. So what's next for you?
For the next little bit is basically just get back to reality here. I just finished with this production, and then I think we're gonna plan to kind of finish up the last feature that I created, terms and conditions. I think we want to add another piece to it so that we get to like a 90-minute feature, and then we'll start looking for distributors to see who'll pick it up once we're done that. So give myself a little bit of break for the summer, and then we'll hit going. We want to try to start filming in September for the last piece to our feature there. So.
Oh, can you share more information, or is it just
Oh, it's just a show called so I created Character Flaw Productions for my own thing here. So I teamed up with a few other producers in Saskatchewan here, and we made a feature film called Terms and Conditions. And
okay?
yeah, it has it has a few stars in it, like Jan Arden, like and Steve-O, who've made some cameo appearances on it. And it's
Oh
basically
wow,
about a bunch of different little apps that kind of run our lives. So it's kind of like Black Mirror meets The Hangover, and so it's like 5 or 6 different storylines. They each kind of 20 minutes, but they all kind of connect together into like a whole story. So it's
that's that's a good tagline. Black Mirror meets The Hangover.
yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. That's it's just a silly little comedy about different apps and how they impact our lives and stuff. So
Is
we're
it
just trying.
is it full of action or is it
Oh
something?
no, it's very much just like a comedy. It's a silly. There's a couple of stunts in it, but nothing big at all. It's just it's more so just for us to stay relevant in the film industry here. So
What? Well, that's I'm curious to watch it regardless. But like comedy, like what? Like slapstick comedy or just comedy comedy?
yeah, just kind of like kind of silly, lowbrow humor. Something that you go watch with a few buddies and have a few drinks and watch it. Something that doesn't take itself very seriously.
All right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all right.
We're
Well,
not trying to make any political statements or anything. We're just gonna have some fun with it.
oh my God, we need so much of those.
Yeah,
We need
just
so much
just
of those,
just
man.
a
Just
place
give
to
me
laugh.
just yeah,
Yeah,
just give me some fun, man. Don't
yeah,
I don't need to be reminded of reality every time I watch a movie. Just let me have some
exactly.
fun.
Just go out there and just laugh at people being dumb
Well, I can't wait to watch it.
for sure.
And I'm so happy that you made those two shorts. So we're going to be screening at a festival. I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited that our audience are going to be enjoying those. And then maybe I'll should have a donut stand afterwards. Uh, uh, dude, after watching your and I try to avoid sweet because I got a sweet tooth and
Yeah.
I'm paying the dividends for it on my stomach. But I try to avoid sweets. But when I saw your short, I'm like, I want a donut. I want a donut. So I think that would be a good marketing idea. Thank you for that.
No problem.
But I'm really excited to see more what what's going to come from you and your team. This festival has introduced me to so many talented, up and coming or already at the pinnacle of stunt and action. And I think that's one of the things that I'm trying to promote, not just in Canada, but in general, like to give space for people who want to be celebrated for their love and ability to create action. And we really want to see more of what you do, and we want to see more of you. And I'm full of admiration to everybody that does this, man. Like in all seriousness.
Well, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you for having my shorts in your film festival. I'm really looking forward to it. Appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. This has been a lot of fun. So I appreciate everything. So keep up the good work you're doing. Amazing out there.